Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So guys, I have an exciting video today. How to basically keep going when your 3D is showing you the opposite. I was driving home from my physio appointment today and I just had this like moment of like, you know what, inspiration. It's like, I need to share this because, you know, I think it's all too often what happens is we create, you know, things to show up in our realities that we don't like. And then, you know, instead of like, you know, just observing them and realizing that we've created them, we internalize them, and then we just create this echo chamber and this like continuous cycle of just like in a downward spiral. So yeah, we're going to talk about how you can actually get out of that and what to do when your reality shows you opposite of what you want. Just before we dive into it, guys, as a thank you for sharing our videos, when we get to 100,000 subscribers, we are giving away 3 free coaching sessions, 1 to each subscriber we choose. To enter, you just need to share our videos and tag us. Make sure you're subscribed, as well as comment what you've manifested using the law of assumption. And in fact, let's even go with, you know what, just comment your favorite affirmation or intention, right? So yeah, and also guys, I am having a sale on my course and my affirmation track. My course is how to create the relationship you love. That's what I used, all the techniques I used to manifest my marriage, as well as I did a affirmation track on how to get rid of the third party. So it's got some great affirmations on there that you can listen to. I do it in a way where I say it once and then I say it twice, where you can repeat it with me so you can really internalize it, right? So yeah. And a lot of our coaches are having sales right now, so definitely check out the link in the description. As well as, you guys know, we have a free course, completely free. Check out the link in the description as well. Pardon me. So let's dive into this. Okay. And so I know it's a thing, you know what, I've been in a funk myself where, you know what, things that I, you know, have put out there and thought, my negative thoughts have shown up and I see them. And then, you know, and I see them and then I get down on myself and blah, blah. And you know how the story goes, right? You know, and it becomes an echo chamber, a never ending cycle. So, I mean, the first thing to remember, you know, when, you know, things that you don't want show up is to remind yourself that you created them so you can change them just as easily. Right. And we want to just be an observer of it. You know, so when you do see things that are the opposite showing up, you need to remind yourself of your power and say, look, you know what? I am, you know, a powerful creator. My thoughts create. Everyone is me pushed out. Okay. So I can be, do, and have what I want, and I can turn this situation around. Okay. And you really need to look at it with a grain of salt and not give it all the weight and the emotion that goes along with it when we're panicking, reacting to it, and that sort of thing. Right. It's okay if you react to it, but at some point you got to pull yourself out of it and say, no, I need to change my story. Okay. So I had this whole story about this person in my life, and it was just crazy. So this person was absolutely terrible, completely terrible. They kept doing terrible things. And then I just kept like perpetuating the story by talking to people, complaining about it. And, you know, and it just kept getting worse. And it's just like, oh, why is the opposite? And then I would do a few intentions here or there, but I was like, why is the opposite showing up in my 3D? And it was like, well, that's because, you know what, I may have been like doing intentions once in a while, but the other 80% of the time I was like complaining to people about this person. You know, like I would vent about it. I would react to it. I would get angry at it. I would just like basically say, oh my God, they're doing this, they're doing that. But I would never actually at any point turn it inwards and go, okay, what are my assumptions of this person? What is the story that I'm creating about them? What's the story that I'm holding about them? How do I talk to them about other people? Okay. So, you know, it's about remembering that every single one of your thoughts is an affirmation. Every single one of your thoughts is an intention. Okay. That's your magic wand. Okay. So you need to choose what thoughts you're going to entertain and which thoughts you aren't going to entertain. And that's why we call it a mental diet. Okay. So the first thing when your things show up in your 3D that are opposite, to remind yourself that you are the operant power. Okay. That you are God of your reality, or however you like to state it, that your thoughts create. Okay. And that you can change what's showing up in your reality because you're in control of it. Okay. And then take a step back and say, okay, I understand that's the way they're acting right now. Those are old thoughts. What do I want them to show up as instead? Okay. And then start focusing on that. Okay. I want them to be this instead, that instead. So, you know, sometimes we don't even know what we want until we see what we don't want. right? So, you know, when people show up and things are the opposite of what you want, it's basically a big red flag going, work on this, right? So whenever I have a goal in mind, okay, and I hear feedback from people in my reality and I see things show up, I'm like really excited because those are, you know, my blocks being like, you know, basically like spotlight shone on them. It's like, okay, I intend to get married to Andrew. And then Andrew said, well, I'm scared of commitment. I've got baggage. I was previously married. It didn't work out. Whoa, there's my block. So I changed that story. He changed his mind, right? So, you know, the opposite showing up in your reality is a good thing. Get excited about it. You know, start looking at it like the opportunity to create what you want out of it, because your most powerful affirmations and intentions will be the ones from where your biggest complaints are. Okay. And your biggest complaints with your assumptions about people are going to show up in those people. Your biggest complaints about things in your life are going to show up. Okay. So take those complaints, those are opportunities, and turn them into intentions. And those are where you're going to have your biggest breakthrough. Okay. So when you're seeing what's opposite in your reality, take a look and say, no, you know what? I intend that all my positive thoughts manifest. I intend I always get what I want, and this is what I want. Okay. And really be clear on what you want to see showing up. And then the other thing, right? And I mean, it's important that we're not complaining to other people about the situation, right? So coaching's different. You come to us for coaching. We're going to hear your story. We're going to help you find your blocks. We're going to give you intentions to counter those blocks. And we're going to clean up your story with you in a very powerful way. Okay, so that's not what I'm saying. It's like, don't be complaining to people that are non-LOA people that just are going to help complain with you. And you guys know who I'm talking about. I've got people like that in my life too, where, you know what, if I sit down with a glass of wine and start complaining about the sky being blue, they're going to hop on right with me and say, yeah, that sucks. I wish the sky wasn't blue either, you know? So not those people, okay? Like, and also watch your inner conversations, right? What are you having? Like, I remember I used to drive to work and there was this one supervisor I didn't like. And the whole way in work in the car, I'd be like basically having a fight with her in my head. And then sure enough, that would end up happening, right? Like, it's like, you know, so start having those inner conversations. Like, you don't need to hear the person's voice. Like, guys, you already know how to do this. You guys are already perfect at it. You created everything that's in your reality right now around you. Okay. So you are the technique. There is no right or wrong way to do this. The only name of the game here is focus your thoughts on what you want. Okay. That's the only thing that you need to do. Okay, you don't need to feel good. You don't need to eat vegetables. You don't need to do any of that. Well, you can do that if it makes you feel good and you want to. But what I'm saying is, you know, you don't need to run around a tree 3 times and yell hallelujah for something to manifest unless you believe you need to do that, right? So basically, you are the technique. You are the magic wand. It's your thoughts, right? And there's no technique that you need to do other than a mental diet, focusing on what you want, and believing that you can get it. So the final thought I will leave you with, guys, is the technique that you can use to start building your belief in yourself and trust in yourself. And that's basically just writing a list of little manifestations, okay? Someone buying you coffee, someone buying you lunch, you know, someone wearing a purple shirt at work, you know, anything like that, okay? Seeing a certain type of dog, you know. I remember one day I intended to see a raccoon and I saw one out in the middle of the day in my backyard. Say I have a lot of deer and bear in my area, so I intend to see one of those. Boom, same day I see them. So little manifestations that, you know what, you believe that aren't common enough that you know that you've manifested that. So, you know, do that little list every day and keep track of what you actually manifest and keep adding to that list, and that'll really help you to start to build your belief in what, you know, in yourself, in your own power, because, you know, don't doubt yourself, you know. And I know when you see the opposite, it can be like that. Something you don't want shows up, then you start doubting yourself, if I'm good enough, blah, 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 and it goes back and forth. Like, you know, don't do that. Pull yourself out of it, okay? Tell yourself, look, I'm good enough to have what I want. I am going to get what I want. I am amazing. I am successful. I am rich. I am deserving of everything I want. I am going to have, and I do have everything I want right now, okay? Anyways, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.